Have you ever felt that there is something in your life that just doesn't quite fit? As if you were walking along a path laid out by others? As if your thoughts, your desires, even your decisions weren't truly your own? Think about it. From the moment you learned to speak, you were taught to use certain words, and you never questioned why. They told you how to say what you feel, what you dream, what you fear. But what if the words you use are actually the bars of an invisible cage? Your prison may have no physical bars, no guards, no walls, but it exists. And the most disturbing part is that you're the one reinforcing it with every word you speak. Welcome. Today we're not going to talk about mere words. We're going to unearth spells. We're going to view language for what it truly is, a sacred ancestral artifact, and dangerously manipulated. I warn you, if you choose to keep listening, there's no turning back. What you are about to discover is not knowledge. It is a key to open the door to a truth that has been hidden from you since the very first moment you opened your mouth to say your first mama. Words are not innocent. They are not neutral. They are not simple sounds. Words are spells. Yes, spells. Does that seem exaggerated to you? Consider this. The English word for spelling is spell, and to cast a spell means to cast a magic spell. It's no coincidence, because every time you speak, you're shaping your reality or sealing your fate. And even more disturbing, you're invoking. Since time immemorial, the ancients knew that language possessed vibrational power. Tribes used it in ritual chants. Druids intoned it in stone circles. Shamans repeated it in the jungle with voices that opened portals. But you use it every day without knowing it. And you use it to chain yourself, to limit yourself, to reduce the infinite being you are to a small, comfortable, easily controlled narrative. This isn't for me. I can't. The same thing always happens to me. I'm unlucky. I'm not worth it. Where did those phrases come from? Who put them in your head? Who wrote that script? The answer may not be human. The ancients knew. They knew that language is the door between dimensions, a channel between the soul and matter, between what you dream and what exists. But that door was seized by entities who understood something before you. Whoever controls language controls reality. Look around you. Listen to how people speak. Pay attention to the news, social media, governments. They don't inform, they program. Yes, you heard right. They program. And you have been programmed. From the cradle, from school, from lullabies to the 9 o'clock news. Did you know there are studies proving that the words we use affect the structure of water? And that you are made up of 60% water. Dr. Masaru Emoto proved it. Words such as love, thank you, peace, create beautiful crystals. Hate, fear, war, generate chaos. What if what you say is creating chaos inside you? What if your illness, your anxiety, your insomnia are nothing more than physical responses to the language you repeat each day? But this is not all. Let's go deeper. Quantum physics. Yes, the science that makes logic tremble. Experiments like the double slit have demonstrated that observation modifies matter. What do you observe when you speak? What do you define when you describe yourself? When you say, I am poor, you are collapsing a quantum field into a limited version of yourself. When you repeat, this overwhelms me, you are commanding the universe to subject you. Your words don't just describe your world, they choose it. And there is an elite, a structure, a system that knows this secret. and they have used it against you. Look at the words. Government comes from govern and mind. Government equals control of the mind. Authority contains author. Who writes the story? The one who holds authority. And you. What story are you repeating? Let's examine other words. Contract. Contract. A deal with hidden conditions. Awake. You wake up each morning, but are you truly awake? Or do you simply rise to continue sleeping with your eyes open? Morning? Morning. Doesn't it sound suspiciously like mourning, grief, loss? Does every new day begin with mourning? Coincidence? I don't think so. Legal language is also full of invocations. A court summons is called a summons, just like in magic, an invocation. As if going to court isn't going to a human place, but to a ritual of power. And the word human, hu plus man. Hu, frequency, vibration. Man, human, a vibrational being, embodied light. But you were taught that you are flesh, bone, and debt. You were programmed to forget your light. And now, here you are, repeating phrases like mantras, but mantras that do not heal, mantras that enslave. I can't. I don't have time. It's not possible. That's too much for me. Repeat that enough times, and you'll believe it. And when you believe it, you'll live it. And when you live it, it will be your reality. Do you now understand why your life seems not to move forward? It's not your fault. It's the language you inherited. A language designed not to communicate, but to domesticate. But there is a way out, and it begins with one word: awakening. Speak consciously. Every time you say something, ask yourself, does this empower me or limit me? Does this open my mind or confine it? Reprogramming begins with choice. The choice not to repeat what they told you, but to create what resonates with you. Because yes, your words are energy, frequency, vibration. And that vibration travels through your body. It affects your cells. It transforms your electromagnetic field. It modifies your aura, and it connects with the very fabric of reality. What if I told you that by speaking with intention, you can change your biology? Studies on neuroplasticity confirm it. When you repeat powerful phrases, your brain forges new connections. When you speak with gratitude, areas of well-being activate. When you name what you desire as if you already have it, your mind begins to act as if it were real, and in that as if, miracles happen. Language is the magic wand you never knew you had. And you are the wizard who didn't know he was one. Now you understand why the ancient schools of wisdom insisted on silence. Not to keep quiet, but not to create what you don't desire. Because even the murmur of a complaint is a spell of lack. And there's more. Sound, rhythm, intention, everything matters. The music you listen to, the lyrics you repeat, the voices you follow, all of it programs your vibrational field. What if success, health, abundance weren't a destination, but a frequency? Tune your language, hone your word, connect your speech with your spirit. Because every time you speak, you are writing a prayer. And I don't mean a sentence. I mean a spiritual invocation, a sacred act, a pact with the universe. And here is the truth they've wanted to hide from you. Your life will not change until you change the way you speak. But when you do it with intention, with purpose, with truth, the world around you will begin to shape itself in response. It's not magic. It's ancient wisdom, buried wisdom. Wisdom feared by those who want you to remain asleep. But now, you are no longer asleep. Now you know. And what you know transforms you. Start with the simple. Change "I can't" to "I am learning." Change "this is difficult" to "this is teaching me something." Change "it never happens to me" to "I am preparing to receive it." Speak as one who already is, not as one who hopes to be. Because you are not your mistakes. You are what you choose to say after them. And the next time someone tells you that words are carried away by the wind, answer them, no. Words create the wind. And you are the wind. Your new reality begins in your mouth, and the divine spark has always been there, waiting for you to speak the right word to ignite it. Now tell me, Som, what reality are you ready to create? And now that you have opened that door, I need you to ask yourself a question that very few dare to ask. Who taught you to think? I'm not referring to what you think, but the format of your thought, the mold, that invisible pattern that shapes every idea that crosses your mind. Have you noticed that your thinking is structured in words, and not just any words, but in a language, in a grammar, in an imposed order? It seems harmless, but there lies the trap. If your thinking uses words, and those words have been predefined by others, then your thinking isn't entirely your own. Your mind isn't free, and that is chilling. Because it means that your capacity to imagine is limited to the language you master. There are ancient cultures that have no word for possession, or for war, or for debt. Do you know what that implies? That they literally cannot conceive those concepts. That their inner reality cannot be programmed with ideas that do not exist in their language. This is not a linguistic detail. It is spiritual. Because the soul manifests through what it can imagine. And if your imagination has been hijacked by a language loaded with control, scarcity, fear, and obedience, then your soul lives in a dark room, searching for windows it cannot open. Want more? In some indigenous languages, such as Hopi or Quechua, there are no verb tenses like in Spanish. They don't say "I was" or "I will be." Only the present exists. All is occurring now. All is being, not having been, not becoming. And now understand this. If your language forces you to think in past and future, it disconnects you from the now. It imposes on you a time that no longer exists, or that has not yet arrived. And thus you live, trapped between what was and what you fear it might be. The present, the only point of real power, becomes a spectator. Isn't that what we're taught from childhood? To live for a future, to lament a past, to forget that the only moment that can be transformed is this one. Now observe another thing. Have you noticed how we speak about ourselves? We say, "I have a body. My mind thinks this. My soul feels that." That "my" creates separation, as if you were the owner of a collection of parts. But we never say, "I am consciousness. I am energy. I am presence." Why? Because nobody taught you those words. Because they weren't in your initial programming, and this is vital. Because language not only describes the world, it defines who you believe yourself to be. And here comes a spiritual bombshell. If your language doesn't include the divine, you will never be able to experience it. Because for something to exist in your reality, it must first exist in your word. The word is the antechamber of experience. Have you never wondered why the sacred scriptures of all religions begin with something like, "In the beginning was the Word"? Because that is not a poetic ornament. It is a warning. Creation does not begin with the physical act, but with verbal intention. The word is the spark that ignites the fire of existence. That is why the ancients recited prayers. Not because heaven needed reminders, but because the words activated internal codes. They ignited dormant keys. They reconnected the self with the all. And it wasn't only the religious who knew this. Also the magicians, the mystics, the sages. The true name of something had power. And if someone knew your secret name, they could invoke or destroy your energy. Now ask yourself, who gave you your name? And why did you never question it? That name you repeat every day, that you sign with, that you carry, was a word placed upon you, before you even had a voice to accept it. What vibration does your name carry? Is it a blessing or an imposition? Maybe you don't know, but that vibration accompanies you at every step, and until you examine it, it may continue acting as a silent spell. Let's talk about another mystery, mantras. They are not random words. They are sacred combinations, repeated in a state of presence, that reconfigure the vibration of the energy field. Why do they work? Because they are not empty. They do not describe. They create. You can do the same if you use language with intention. It's not about saying pretty things. It's about tuning your words to your soul, to what you already are, even if you have forgotten it. And if you want a direct example, here it is. Change, I'm going to try to, I will do it. Change, I need to, I choose. Change, I have to, I decide. And watch. Not how the world changes, but how your stance toward it changes. Do you feel the power? That is sacred language, the one that does not beg, but declares. The one that does not wait, but co-creates. The one that does not repeat others' scripts, but writes a new one. And do you know the most astounding thing? That all of this, you already knew it. Deep within you, there is an ancestral voice that remembers, that knows that the word is a bridge, and that you are the builder. That is why, from today on, speak as one who remembers, not as one who repeats, not as one who doubts, because your words are keys, and the universe is a temple with infinite doors. Speak, but not to convince, nor to fill the silence. Speak as one who blows on the ember and ignites the flame of their own divinity. Because yes, language can enslave, but it can also awaken you. You only need one true word, spoken from the heart, and everything changes. Everything. And now that you have made it to this point, I will ask you one last question. The most dangerous one of all. What if everything you've lived until now has been a story written by words you didn't choose? What if every fear you feel, every doubt, every limit, are just phrases repeated so many times that you forgot you could rewrite them? Don't forget. Words create pathways in the mind, neuronal roads that, the more you repeat them, the deeper they become, until a moment arrives when you no longer walk. The language walks you. Your life has been a borrowed book. But here's the truth. You are the original author. And perhaps until now you have lived under an alien script, full of phrases like be quiet, wait, resign yourself, obey, settle. But listen, that chapter is over. Today you begin to write your own. And it will not be just another chapter. It will be a rupture, a dimensional leap, a declaration to the universe. Because true awakening is not opening your eyes, it is opening your mouth. And at last, speaking your truth. Don't you feel it already? That soft tremor in your chest, that vibration in your throat. It is your voice coming back to you. And don't get me wrong. This is not about shouting, nor about imposing, nor about convincing anyone. It is about invoking your power with every syllable, of transforming the ordinary into the sacred, of looking reality in the eye and saying, I will name you anew. Because that is what creators do. They name, and by naming, they bring into the world something that didn't exist before. So today, right here, reinvent yourself. Rewrite your story with words that heal, that uplift, that ignite. Because every word you utter after this video will be a spell. And what will you conjure now? Victimhood or portals? Excuses or miracles? Inherited lies or your incarnate truth? You choose. And before you close this video, let me propose something. Write in the comments the following phrase: I am the verb that awakens reality. Leave it down there and let the universe listen. And if you felt something stir in your chest, if something inside you shifted, even a little, subscribe. Not because I tell you to, but because you know this frequency is your home. And there is still so much to uncover. What's coming is not information, it's verbal alchemy. And each new video will be another key to open your inner temple. Thank you for staying until the end. But above all, thank you for remembering what you have always been. And now, close your eyes and listen with your soul. I am the verb that awakens reality. I am the word that creates fire. I am the silence that contains everything. And I have chosen to speak, not to tell a story, but to begin a new era. I'll see you at the next threshold. And remember, it's not what you say, it's what you invoke. Until soon, ancient soul. We will meet again when you speak your next truth.